Hi, I'm Jeff.A223. I'm on the faculty of the S.I.T. Graduate Institute, and I'm the current chair of the degree program in Sustainable Development. And this video is going to help you register for your fall term courses. But before I give you some guidelines on that, I want to give you a little bit of context of why some of this is very simple and some of it is a little bit more complex. So, first of all, congratulations on choosing what I think is one of the most unique and powerful degree programs in the field of development studies anywhere in the world. And there are many reasons why that's the case, in my opinion, and we'll talk about some of those when you get to campus. What I want to emphasize right now is that we're a quite small program, 5 faculty, but we're part of a larger family of programs, and the courses that you're going to be choosing from are both courses taught by our 5 faculty as well as taught by a pretty diverse and competent, interesting group of fellow faculty. So in the catalog you'll find bios with our names, Sustainable Development, with myself, Jeff.A223, Kanti Atokorola, Marla Solomon, Charlie Curry-Smithson, and Nikoi Koti-Nikoi. But also listed as other degree areas, but equally important to our degree, are people like Ken Williams, who's from Barbados and teaches leadership, community, and coalition building, or Akhil Termizi from Pakistan, who teaches NGO leadership and management, social entrepreneurship, Paula Green and Tots Arai, who are faculty in the conflict transformation program. So you'll be meeting a lot of different faculty in your classes and as we go through your course options. What we're trying to do, and this is an experiment, is because we share so many of these courses across the different degree areas, it's oftentimes difficult to project in advance how many sections of a particular course we need. And we try to keep our courses from becoming very large. So this is, I think, a very innovative effort to get you to make some selections before you come to campus. It gives us some planning time to try to make sure that this is going to be the best experience we can possibly give to you. So, what we're going to do is look at documents, and in a moment we're going to actually move to someplace that I'm much more comfortable as a professor, a blackboard, and I'll give you some specific guidelines. But what I want you to do now is, if you haven't already, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to download a number of specific documents. And so, and they're all on the Arrival homepage, or Arrival page of the website. One of them is the fall schedule. A second is the registration form that you'll need to fill out. Okay. In addition to that, and those are at the top, under Sustainable Development, in addition to a very exciting welcome letter from me, you will find a couple documents, one of which is what we call Degrees at a Glance, and there'll be one for each for the Sustainable Development degree, but also for each of the 3 concentrations, and I'll be talking about those. And so that's Community Development and Social Action, Development Management, and Policy Analysis and Advocacy. In addition to that, there's an additional form which I am calling 2011-2012 Planning Guide, and it's a 1-pager. And I'd like you to download each of those, have them in front of you, and then unpause your video, and we'll get started at the blackboard. Thanks a lot. So, welcome back. We're now in the classroom. In the background is a summer storm, so if you hear some noise, don't be alarmed. I assume now you have the documents that I just mentioned, so that means we're going to first work from this document called the 2011-2012 Planning Guide. So I want to have you have a sense of sort of what spaces you have to take courses across the whole year. Because as you know, in the program, you're going to do 9 months or 2 semesters for the coursework, and then your professional practicum, capstone paper, and capstone seminar. So we're really focusing on, in order to register for the fall term, you've got to think about what you're going to take fall and spring. All right. So as you will see in this document, there's a something that looks like this. Some more check boxes. All right. So this is what we call Fall 1. This is what we call Fall 2. This is what we call Spring 1 and Spring 2. In essence, you're going to be registering now for what we call Fall 1 and 2. And then later on, you'll register one time for all the spring courses. Fall 1 is a 2-week term, and everybody takes the same course during that period of time. It's called Foundations, and it's a required course for everybody in sustainable development, conflict transformation, international education, the self-design degree in intercultural service leadership and management. So you will register for that, and that's a 4-credit course. And so what you're going to really have then is, once that 2 weeks is over, and it will continue a bit into Fall 2, you will begin a 12-week term in which essentially you should take 4 3-credit courses. One of these might be a 2-credit course. You might add a 1-credit course. There's some different options there. But I'm going to focus you on these 4 boxes as well as these 5. So what you're going to, if you're in the Sustainable Development degree, you're going to take 2 courses no matter what in the fall. One is Theory and Practice of Sustainable Development. It's a 3-credit course. You'll see it on your sheet. And the second one is Economics, 3-credit course. So basically, you will have 2 3-credit course slots that you're going to choose. It makes it kind of simple. Where it becomes a little bit more complex is that what you take now can affect what you're able to take in the spring. For example, there are a number of courses that are in the spring that have a prerequisite of a fall course. An example of a course that I teach, if you want to take the more advanced policy analysis and advocacy methods course in the spring, you must take the policy advocacy course before then. If you're going to take training for social action, you must take the training design course before then, etc. Okay? So that's one thing to think about. The second is where you want to focus your studies. As you know, we outlined 3 different concentrations. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my idea about concentrations. They're our way of suggesting to you as a student which courses might make the most sense if you want to focus your studies in one of the, what we think of as 3 different levels of interventions. So community development and social action is the intervention where you focus on working with people and communities, hands-on. You're using education and training and providing services. Very important part of the development process. The second concentration, development management, is you're stepping back and you're working with not directly providing the services, but making sure that there's the programs and the organizations that can do that. And so it involves a series of skills in program planning, monitoring, evaluation, management, etc. Okay? A third concentration is if you want to intervene at the policy level. Oftentimes the problems that we're trying to solve at the community level have either require a solution that involves a change in policy or actually caused by current policy. And so there's a whole other level of intervention of trying to influence the policies of government and other powerful institutions, corporations, etc. Now, that said, it's more complicated because rarely does one person really only work in one of those areas. Someone who works with communities is oftentimes the person who's also linking to a policy change process. The person who's organizing communities so that there can be enough pressure on political policymakers to influence change. Somebody who's working in management is obviously needs to have a grounding in the programs that they're delivering, or oftentimes is the person who is the bridge between the community and the advocacy process, etc. So I don't want you to get overly concerned about these. Think of them as heuristic devices, as ways of thinking about how you might concentrate. On the other hand, my opinion is that you should choose courses that are going to be most effective for your own professional career development. If that doesn't involve the set of courses that are in any of these concentrations, do sustainable development without a concentration. Nobody's ever going to ask what was your concentration. So I just don't want you to get hung up on that. Okay? But we're going to use those to give you an idea of how to register. Hope that you're following this so far. Okay, so what you're going to next do is you're going to look at what we call degree at a glance, and it's going to describe the courses that you must take if you want to do any of the particular concentrations. Okay? And what you're going to find is if we do the first of all, the community development and social action concentration, you're going to not only have to take, we also have an issues course here. So if you're going to do this sustainable development degree, you're going to have to take theory, practice, economics, and an issues course in the spring. If you're going to graduate at all, you also have to take the foundations course and a practitioner inquiry course. And that course is either going to come here in the fall, it might happen in spring 1, or in spring 2. So you have some choices there. And what I'm going to suggest is that you think about your other courses and then insert this into your plan where it makes the most sense. Okay? So, all right, now we're back to community development and social action. If you look at the degree at a glance, what you're going to see is that in addition to these courses, you must take at least 3 of a list of courses. I'm going to read them, but you're going to also see them on your sheet. Training designed for experiential learning, popular and non-formal education, training for social action, policy advocacy, leadership, community, and coalition building. Okay? Now, so you're going to want to look at that list, and you're going to say, which 3 am I most likely to take? Now, some of those courses are going to be offered in the fall, and so you'd want to think about them here. Some are only going to be offered in the spring, so you'd be thinking about filling them in here. And some of them are offered actually in both. As I said earlier, some of them have a prerequisite, so if you're going to take a certain course in the spring from this list, you have to take a certain course from the list in the fall. Okay? So specifically, the courses that you have to think about that are offered in the fall, training designed for experiential learning. There's 3 sections of that. And I'm going to now kind of start to focus you in on actually how those courses are scheduled. So that I want you also to be looking at the fall 2 schedule. Okay? And that's organized so that you see which courses are taught Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Monday evening, etc. Most classes, in fact, almost all classes meet once a week, or all morning, or all afternoon, or full evening. And so you'll see that the training design course, there's 3 different sections of it, offered at different times. And so you want to find which of those times fits in your schedule. If you want to take training design, you don't need to. You could easily take the course in policy advocacy here, and you can take the course in leadership, community, and coalition building here, and you could take the course in popular and non-formal education here. So you met the 3-course requirement for that concentration. All right? But, so you want to be thinking about which of those courses you want to take in the fall. In addition, there says you take an additional remaining of 15 credits from quite a long list. And some of those courses are offered in the fall. Program planning and management, monitoring and evaluation, financial management, fundraising and grant writing, nonprofit, NGO, social business management, conflict and identity. Again, I'm going to be showing you some more specifics that supplement this. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. You're going to have to think about which courses I'm going to take, stick them in your plan. Think as best you can about then when I'll take the others. If I only take one of those courses now, then I suggest taking your practitioner inquiry in the fall. All right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Development management. Same deal. You have to take these courses, and then in addition to that, you must take at least 3 of a list of 5 courses. All right? I'm going to read them to you. Program planning and management, monitoring and evaluation, strategic planning and implementation, social entrepreneurship, nonprofit, NGO, and social business management. Okay? Now, 3 of those courses are offered in the fall. Program planning and management, monitoring and evaluation, and the nonprofit NGO and small business management, social business management. So you could take 2 of them here, take an additional course from that list in the spring, and you'll have gotten much of what we think are important for someone who's going to be managing programs and organizations. The course in program planning and management is sort of a foundational course in how one thinks about and actually the skills in going from needs assessment to program design and the budgeting and all of the different processes of getting a new program off the ground. Some of you will have had experience in that and you won't need to take that course. Others, if you haven't though, it's a pretty important foundational course and it's offered here. A course that, if you have that sort of foundation, I would suggest monitoring and evaluation. Very important skill, but we will also offer it again in the spring. So if you take the program planning and management in the fall, the monitoring and evaluation course in the spring is a great sequence. All right? The same with the NGO management, etc. That course, it's the long name, will be offered in the fall and in the spring. So you have a number of options for thinking about where you would be filling this in. Importantly, then, when you go down the rest of the list, there's a number of courses that will only be offered in the fall, and you should make sure that you take them if this is what you want. These include financial management, fundraising and grant writing, conflict and identity. Particularly the financial management courses is, unless you have a background in that, is fairly important, obviously. And it might be, so you might take financial management and either in the NGO management or the program planning and management or the monitoring and evaluation. Okay? There are other courses, though, that are also available during these same blocks of time. All right, now you're going to go to the policy analysis and advocacy concentration, our third concentration. This is the one we're intervening at sort of the macro level and trying to change policies that impact communities. So what you need to do in this degree, in this concentration area, is you must take the policy analysis course. It's a 3-credit course, either here or it's going to also be offered in Spring 1 in Bangladesh. So you're going to have 2 choices. If you are able to go on a field course, an intensive 3-week course in Bangladesh, that'd be great. I'm going to be teaching it. You're very welcome. But if not, take the course in the fall. All right? Either way, then you will be prepared to take the additional course called Policy Analysis and Advocacy Methods in the spring, or the Leadership, Community, and Coalition Building. But you can't take the Policy Analysis and Advocacy Methods course unless you've taken Policy Advocacy as a prerequisite. Okay? So, and once again, I'm going to suggest that you look down the list, you see which courses are offered in the fall, and decide where you're going to fill in. When you have your idea of which courses you want to take, then you're going to go to the schedule. You're going to make sure that none of them conflict in terms of time, and then you're going to fill out the registration form and do whatever the registrar wants you to do. I don't know about all of that, but she's highly competent and got it all together, and if we faculty members get involved, we'll just mess it up. Okay? So let me also then just say that it's the exact same routine if you don't do a concentration. The only difference is almost every course I've just talked about is available to you to put in whenever you want. And so it really allows you much more flexibility, which is one of the reasons why I think don't do a concentration unless those courses are the ones that you would want to take anyway. No one will ever ask you when you go to a job interview, oh, you have a master's degree in sustainable development, what was your concentration? You can add it if you have one, but it won't hurt you. Okay, so I think we've got basically the elements of how to get yourself registered for the fall. I want to reemphasize that when you arrive in the fall, You're going to actually sit down with it. We're going to sit down as a group and go over. You can ask lots of questions. You can you'll sit down with your advisor, ask further questions, go over your choices, and make modifications. You will have the first 2 weeks of the fall 2 term to add and drop courses. In fact, what I'm going to suggest to any of my advisees is that you, in addition to these 2 optional courses, you choose a 3rd optional course that you're going to go to in the first week. Find out about the syllabus, get a sense of the professor, and maybe you're going to add that and drop one of these. It is possible to take a 5th course here or a 5th course there. That's why the little boxes are in with hash marks. It's not recommended. The way that these terms work is this is a 12-week term. Basically, if you take 1 credit per week, that's a pretty full schedule. 1 credit is supposed to be about 45 hours of your life in and outside of class. So you can think if you're going to be doing 45 hours a week for 12 weeks, you can basically take 12 credits. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3 is 12. And even here, you're taking a few extra credits because of the foundations course. So it's a heavy load. Adding another one, some students have done it. It'll actually result in an overload and some additional tuition, but not much, I don't think. But for me, the issue isn't tuition. The issue is sanity and depth, and really being able to focus in on learning as much as you can from the courses you're taking, as well as taking advantage of the learning community here. There are lots of different kinds of activities that happen, student-initiated, as well as program and S.I.T. initiated. It's one of the great learning opportunities is spend time with your colleagues. It's a small learning community. Take advantage of that, and don't have yourself so strung out being in class all the time or reading that you can't even talk to anybody else because you're so busy. All right, I think that's going to do it. I'm very hopeful that it's given you enough information to do the first step. Try it out. If you have challenges, you can write to the registrar. I'll try to provide additional information as necessary. And most of all, enjoy the transition to Vermont. We're really looking forward to seeing you. It's going to be a great year. Thanks.